it is difficult for families to see what's going on in Ukraine at the moment. Our hearts go out to everyone caught up in that conflict right now. We're some of the few in Australia that have been directly touched by that war, but there's just so many people who must be hurting right now.
Do you know how this action differs from the criminal proceedings at The Hague, where 4 individuals have been charged, and the civil action some families are taking?
Yes, the criminal trial has been proceeding in the Netherlands for the last year or so, and they have reached a point where the prosecution has made its case that 4 individuals that were involved mainly in the higher up echelons of the separatist army in the Donbass region in Ukraine were responsible for bringing in a Russian Buktila missile launcher and shooting down MH17. They aren't accusing those 4 people directly of pressing the button to launch the missile, but they were basically responsible for procuring the launcher and for the jet being downed. I suppose that's one avenue of justice that they're pursuing, and the other is there is an action brought by families but supported by the Netherlands in the European Court of Human Rights. And then this third action, which is separate, which is the government of Australia and the government of the Netherlands holding the government of Russia accountable for the role of that Russian missile launcher played in the tragedy of bringing down the airliner.
You mentioned earlier Russia's invasion of Ukraine. What do you make of the timing of this announcement from Australia and the Netherlands?
Yeah, I suppose it is interesting that it's taken 8 years, almost 8 years, to get to this point. But it is true that the criminal case was withholding a lot of evidence right up to the end of last year in terms of what had happened, and not disclosing that for fear of prejudicing the criminal trial. So maybe it's that they've waited for that to be aired in a court in the Netherlands. That's just my speculation, but it could be that this was the earliest they could formally launch. They also, I think, in the ICAO rules, they do need to actually pursue negotiations with Russia before they can launch an action with the ICAO. So that's probably part of the reason as well.
Yeah, as you say, it's been 8 years. The wheels of justice move slowly. Are you confident this will amount to something?
Look, I do support all actions to try to hold Russia accountable, because at the end of the day, it does. Families really just want the truth, and they just want an apology. And I think most families would be a lot happier, or at least partly satisfied, if Russia acknowledged the facts of what happened and owned up to its role. And I think Marise Payne pointed to that when she said that it's all about accountability. And I think that's fair enough. To be honest, though, personally, I've always blamed the war itself. So I'd really like the focus to be on trying to find a resolution and to reduce the escalation of that war, because it really hurts us enormously to see this going on, that it's now 1,000 times worse than it was in 2014. So it's disgraceful the way the Russian government has been allowed to violate international norms and ignore the civilized process of interstate diplomacy and trample roughshod over their neighbours. And I really feel for the people of Ukraine in that. And if there's any way we can bring that conflict to a close, at least bring about some temporary ceasefires, then that's really what I think the focus right now should be on.